Ladies and gentlemen of the press, my name is Mr. Overton of the Department of the Interior, Bureau of Statistics, Office of Communications, Assistant Undersecretary for Linguistics, Doublespeak Section, or as we like to say on the Hill, the BOIBOSOOCAULDSS. I've been asked here today by my friend, the former Senator John Edwards, to address the accusations of an affair with a campaign staff worker and to answer any questions you may have. Yes.
Undersecretary Overton, you have a history of obfuscating the facts and providing answers filled with ambiguity. Is that why former Senator Edwards asked you to speak on this matter?
Well, before engaging in an interrogatory process, which could be construed as non-responsive, I'd just like a general statement specific to the facts, if I could, please.
Is that a yes?
Well, I think it's simply not the opposite of no. Now then, Senator Edwards has previously asserted that he engaged in intimate conduct with a person who is not the person who is his wife.
Mr. Overton, why don't you simply say extramarital affair?
Well, if we are to look at the aggregate marital activity that comprises one or more relationships and extrapolate the degree to which that activity is or is not adequate among any given two persons, then who is to say that such activity in any given amount is indeed extra when it may in fact be just enough?
Okay, I'm sorry, that makes no sense whatsoever. All right, the American people have a right to the clear explanation of the facts.
Senator Edwards would like to further clarify that the aforementioned conduct, although not unintentional, was also not disproportional to the opportunity at hand, and that any commentary to the contrary is purely circumstantial.
That may be the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard, and I've worked in Washington for over 20 years, sir.
Thank you.
Undersecretary Overton, one of our colleagues in the media overheard an Edwards staff member say that this other woman is, quote, one hot piece of ass. Now, is that justification of the senator's actions?
Well, sir, that's obviously a query predicated on hearsay twice removed, and I would remind you that Senator Edwards would be the first to deny secondhand information from a third party whose forthcoming statement would be a violation of his Fifth Amendment rights.
So you deny that she's a hot piece of ass?
Well, a quantification of the degree to which one's posterior radiates heat is at best subjective assessment, highly influenced by situational factors, not the least of which is whether or not there may be sufficient surface tension to cause a quarter to bounce off said posterior surface.
Did you just make a comment about bouncing a quarter off someone's ass?
My answer would be an emphatic maybe.
Mr. Overton, can you just once and for all tell us whether Senator Edwards actually slapped a member of his staff?
Well, I can tell you that when the senator's status is that of a not awake person, his presence is occasionally supplemented by an additional biological mass, which could be construed as having human form.
Okay. And would this human form look anything like a certain blonde video producer from his campaign?
Well, the senator is not unwilling to stipulate that he had a series of non-meetings with said blonde. However, it should be noted that at each and all of these countless encounters, the senator did not lack in suffering from an inner ear condition, leaving him slightly less than unbalanced and prone to repeatedly falling into and or on top of said blonde. While they were, coincidentally and temporarily, free from the confinements of thread-based body coverings.
So basically you're trying to downplay the fact that they were naked and falling all over each other. Do you think the American people are stupid?
I think it's less about what I think about the American people and more about what the American people think about when they're about to think about whether or not the effort to downplay the foreplay was carried out in a spirit of fair play.
Was that a triple word play?
No, sir, that was the sound of Edwards supporters getting screwed by his swordplay.